Right, lovely, far away.
Just recording away. So a great honour. Firstly, Henry, to speak to you. My name's Julian. I'm 52-year-old, and I'm just starting to venture into sports journalism. I've kind of reinvented myself during the pandemic. I was an architectural technician, but I've got a big passion for all sports and cricket, of course. So. So an absolute honour to speak with you. You've been part of my life growing up, Henry.
Well, isn't that wonderful? I mean, two great minds meeting at the same time. Good.
Exactly.
Well, all the very best for your future sporting career.
Thank you very much. Well, I might come back to that and ask for a few pointers after near the end of our conversation, Henry.
Well, I don't know if I'd be any good at giving you any pointers, but I'll do my best. Well done.
Yeah, I think it's just the passion. You just got to have the enthusiasm and passion and just do these things, I think.
Well, you've got to have the enthusiasm, the passion, and just a little bit of knowledge and all the energy to drive you. That's important too. Yeah. And I think always to look on the cheerful side, never feel sorry for yourself.
Exactly. So how have you found the lockdown situation then, Henry? Thankfully, we seem to be putting out.
Well, the lockdown situation, you just got on with it, didn't you? I mean, it was. I had plenty of stuff to do. I was busy as anything. Writing books. I wrote 2 books during lockdown. I had a lot of work to do, a lot of sort of interviews, a lot of recording messages for people and that sort of thing. And then, of course, we decided, 3 of us, that we were going to get together and do these virtual at home with Henry, these theatre shows as virtual performances, which has taken us quite a lot of time, and I think has worked pretty well.
Sure. So there's so they're coming up in July, aren't there? There's some performances that people can come and get tickets for and watch at home, and have an audience with you being at your home.
Well, this is right. I mean, I should be in theatres all around the country at this time of the year, but of course can't be because of COVID. So people can come and see me, and they'll have a good laugh. I mean, I've done 3 shows. The first one's all about where it all began. I mean, I'm talking to you from the house. I was born just a quarter of a mile from here, and this is my home, my family home, and it was where I fell in love with cricket at the age of 7. And we're having a little bit of a look at Houghton, and then we, at the cricket ground where I learned cricket, and then I went to school and on after that, and how I got into broadcasting eventually, having got into journalism first. And that's the first show, and the second show is all the frolics in the commentary box, which is great fun, with all those great characters like John Arlott and Brian Johnston. And there are a lot of very good stories there. And then the third show is what happened after that. I mean, Real Marigold Hotel, 1 or 2 other reality TV things I've done. And lockdown, how I survived that, I think by being cheerful and, trying to sort of get out as best one can and to do new things, to keep reading new books and generally trying to look to the future rather than mope and think of the past. You see, I've always been someone, Julian, I've always thought about and dealt with tomorrow rather than yesterday. And exactly. I think that was very useful to me in lockdown.
I think that's a very good piece of advice for people to follow. So we're at the Guildford Dragons. So of course we've got a great cricket club in Guildford. It's a secondary home to Surrey County Cricket Club. But
don't worry. I played 2 first-class matches for Cambridge University against Surrey at Guildford in 1958 and then again in 1959. So I know that ground very well indeed. And I watched, when I was a journalist, I watched a good number of county matches there. It's a lovely ground. It really is, by the railway.
That's exactly right. They've had a lovely new pavilion built, but I mean, I go down there. We have a cricket festival, which is only 1 day this year, but usually we have a 4-day game and a Sunday limited overs match. But there's been some famous people. I think actually Ricky Ponting's last first-class innings was at Guildford.
Really? Playing for the Australians?
I'm not sure. I think it would have been. I can't remember which county he was playing for, but it might. It was in the cricket.
Nor can I.
But yeah, I mean, the cricket is interesting, Henry. You said that you got into it at age 7. That was the age that I got into it, and I was 7 in 1976. So the famous Blackwash series, and the very hot summer, of course. And I haven't looked back since.
Well, I'm afraid I was a little bit before you.
A little.
When
but,
I got into cricket in the 40s, can you believe it? And
yeah.
was very, very lucky. Then I played, they all thought I was going to be quite good. Then I had a terrible road accident and bicycled into a bus, which was going rather too fast. And I spent 28 days unconscious, which
was
really
that in
not.
Cambridge, Henry? Was that
What?
in Cambridge, that accident?
No, that was when I was at school at Eton near Windsor.
Oh,
And
okay.
I went up to Cambridge after I got into a Cambridge side just, but I wasn't very good. And so that led me really, after 3 years in the city of London, which I loathed, it led me into writing about cricket for the Times initially. And then about 10 years later in 1972 to broadcasting. And where I've been ever since.
Yeah, well, go to the broadcasting with TMS Special. I had to look up what the name of the road was that skirted around the side of the Oval, the Harleford Road.
The Harleford Road.
And the bus numbers.
The Harleford Road at the Oval, the Wellington Road at Lord's and the St John's Wood Road, and of course the Kirkstall Lane at Headingley. And then you've got the Loughborough Road at Trent Bridge. Oh, lots of roads everywhere that I used to talk about buses in.
And they've all got the same number bus that happens to go past.
Well, in Nottingham now, they've got, I think it's number 6 bus. I think it was 6, it may have been 9, that was named after me. And in 2017, when I retired, the last thing I did at Trent Bridge in the test match there, my last test there, was to open the bus, as it were, and cut the tape. And I didn't, they wouldn't give, I wanted to pour a bottle of champagne over it, but they wouldn't allow me to do that.
No, that would have been a waste, Henry.
Well, it would. I'd have been licking it off the engine, I think.
Yeah, so I watched your last, to remind myself, of your last broadcast at TMS. I mean, you must miss that, but equally enjoy listening in as a fan.
Oh, yes, of course I enjoyed listening in, but I do miss it very much because it was the best seat in the house. And also, I mean, we had tremendous camaraderie. We had great fun with everyone and all the leg pulling that went on. And our listeners, they fed us. They sent us masses of cakes and occasionally bottles of champagne. And I tell you something, gooey chocolate cakes washed down with champagne, it's not a bad combination. If I'd come across it earlier, I think it might easily have become a habit for me.
So yeah, you say about the great camaraderie and the wind-ups that happened, and of course the Johnston Agnew wind-up, the corpsing, when I think you selected that, did you, on Desert Island Discs? I read somewhere.
I think I did. Yes, I did leg over. It's one of the great moments of humour. And I mean, it's so funny.
It is, yeah. So everybody should go search that online. But also, I really enjoyed the recent wind-up that Jonathan Agnew did on Geoffrey Boycott about his 100th innings.
That was very funny.
Knowing Test Match Special, I picked up on it before. So I was able to enjoy it. I realised quite quickly, I think, hang on, something's not quite right here. So I enjoyed it in real time, realising it was a wind-up. So it makes me wonder.
I'll let you into a story. It was my last year, 2017, and the night before, the entire Test Match Special team, except Geoffrey, for some reason didn't come, came to my house. And it was the whole plan was plotted in my house in London.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, the evening before. And it was done wonderfully well, wasn't it? I mean, Aggers was brilliant. Andrew Sampson, the scorer, was so good too. Indeed. And Geoffrey fell for it hook, line, and sinker.
Oh, yeah, he didn't have a clue. It was fantastic. So it begs the question. I mean, have they ever got you with such japes, Henry?
Oh well, yes, they always used to get things. David Lloyd, when he was with us, I mean, he came in and said that he got them to show me. There was a picture of a window in the Kellogg building at Old Trafford where he said there was a beautiful girl holding a thing up saying, "Henry, I love you." And I said, "Oh, I can see that. How marvelous." And I started to wave. And of course, there was no one there at all. And that went on for quite a bit. Yes, they used to get me all the time,
Oh,
and then they would send me they would send me notes, which I would read out. And if I wasn't careful, I would read out the name, which was Hugh, H-U-G-H, and then Hugh, and then Jarse, J-A-R-S-E. And if you put it together, it could sound a little indelicate.
Oh, brilliant. Well, it's been a pleasure to talk to you, albeit too briefly. I like talking myself. Henry.
Can I get one thing in? Anyone who wants to come along and get tickets, you've got to go to simonfielder.com and on the net, and then they will get all the details. And I look forward very much to hearing that they're going to be there. So just remember, simonfielder.com is the place to go to get the tickets.
That's right. And also, you're doing some kind of podcast during the test matches. So, of course, we've got a test match starting tomorrow. Well, I'll say tomorrow. I might have to edit that because it won't go up on the site. But the second test against New Zealand's due to start. And are you doing some podcasts daily on the same website? I
shall indeed be doing my little piece every day. It's great fun to be back in business. I feel like an old horse that suddenly heard the starting gun again. It's great fun.
You've got to keep going and doing all these things because your voice.
Well, I find, Julian, the great thing, as I say, is think about tomorrow, never about yesterday.
Exactly. And also, I mean, you're one of the most impersonated people. I mean, I think everybody can do my dear old thing, my dear old thing,
my dear old thing,
my dear old thing.
Do you know that I once drove in a 1921 Rolls Royce from London to Bombay, and we were in Mashhad, the holy city of Mashhad in eastern Iran, when I wanted to write a note to someone about 6:30 in the morning when we were leaving, and I wrote my dear, and I couldn't remember his name, and I wrote old thing. And when we all joined up for lunch, he said to me, I haven't been called my dear old thing since my father died. And it stuck. And that was how it all happened.
That's
and
amazing.
It's been my dear old thing ever since.
It's brilliant. Well, another quick question, just making you saying about going to Bombay and India. So obviously having travelled around the world, what are your favourite grounds that you've been to? I mean, I've been lucky enough to go to Adelaide and I've been to Barbados.
Adelaide's lovely. Barbados is good. Kensington Oval. My best one in the West Indies, for beauty, I think, is of the big grounds, is Queen's Park Oval in Port of Spain. But then that lovely little ground in St. Vincent, where they play occasional test matches, surrounded by water. Calcutta is magnificent. 130,000 people pay, and there are 260,000 people inside the ground. And well, I mean, they find ways of getting in. Why not?
Of course.
Good for them. Good for them. And the Adelaide Oval, you say, Newlands in Cape Town with all the oak trees around. That's lovely. Yeah. Well, I could go on like this forever.
Sure.
I really could. All the grounds I've been lucky enough to see. My favourite cricket ground, though, in the world has always been Trent Bridge in Nottingham.
Is that right? I haven't been there.
Oh, well, it's what you must put it high on your wish list.
I will do. If it comes recommended from you, Henry, that's it doesn't come any higher recommendation than that for me.
Well, I tell you the great thing about Trent Bridge, the gatekeepers are marvellous. And instead of looking for 18 reasons to keep you out when you show them your ticket, they think of 18 different reasons to let you in.
Wow, that's good. Nice people up there. Yeah, friendly, nice, friendly people.
Exactly.
Well, Henry, I will let you go, and thank you very much for spending some time again. We'll remind us what the website address is again for the people watching this.
simonfielder.com.
Yeah, and we can all come and join
Fielder, FIELDER.com.
Cool. And the shows are in July, so I shall look forward to trying to get along to that myself.
Good. I look forward to seeing you, Julian, and you've been a great man. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Cheers, Henry. Take care of yourself.
Bye.
Bye
Cheers,
for now.
Bye.
Bye then.